Hello and welcome back. Today we are going to be continuing with the creatures from the Ark Additions mod, and I will be showing you how to tame one of these big fellows right here, the Brachiosaurus. So, before we get started, I want to go over a couple of mods that I will be using to assist me in the taming process. I actually use these for all of my tames, and they have just made my life so much easier in this game. The first one is going to be called Awesome SpyGlass. What this does is it just vastly improves the SpyGlass in the game, allowing you to basically view all the stats on a creature, whether it be wild or tamed, and this is going to greatly help us out with the Brachiosaurus because it will allow us to see its torpor in real time, which when we get into it, you'll see why that is extremely important. The next mod is called Creature Finder Deluxe, and I can show you the search feature of this mod right here. This is another mod that I highly recommend for any PC players because it just makes your life so much easier. And if you are a single player survivor such as myself, it just makes life so much better, and I kind of have limited time to play Ark these days, so anything that makes things quicker is a godsend. And what this does is it just allows you to search for any creature that may spawn on the map, and even some that don't. But we can look for the highest level Brachiosaurs right here, and I've already kind of scouted this one out. It has much better stats than the other one up on the top here. So we are going to be flying down there to tame that one. So in addition to the mods, let's go over the tools and other implements that you will need. So first off is exceptional kibble. That's what they eat. Like I said, I did scout this one out earlier, but I did not check to see how many it actually needs to be tamed. That's another wonderful feature of Awesome SpyGlass, is that it will actually tell you the foods that the animal will eat in order to be tamed and how many you need based on its level. It is not always 100% accurate, I've found, especially with modded creatures, so I just recommend bringing a bunch. I have 22, so I'm pretty sure that'll be enough. Also, you're going to need a weapon. I recommend the shotgun. You could also use a assault rifle, but I just find the shotgun to be better at outputting damage. You'll also want a lot of ammo. I have, 94 rounds, so I really hope that's enough. It may not be, I'm not sure, but we will soon find out. Lastly, what you will need is some kind of a narcotic to keep it down. I am bringing some biotoxin, leaving it stored in my griffin to increase the spoil timer, and I also have a couple of narcotics. They do have a pretty quick drop on their torpor, so you are going to have to pop this stuff while they are unconscious. Lastly, the mount I'm going to be using is a griffin, and the reason for this is because you can shoot from the back of a griffin. Now, once we get down there, I will explain the taming process because, like with most of the other creatures on this mod, it is unique, and there's quite a bit of explaining that needs to be done in order to do it effectively. So I'm going to fly down there, and then I'll bring you back once I'm ready to get started. Alright, so we're almost there, and I just wanted to explain a couple of more things. You don't 100% need a griffin to help you on this tame. You could use an RG or even a pteranodon. You just want a flyer that is reasonably fast. And once we get started, you're going to see why. So, there it is down there. It's a female. And it says it needs 20 exceptional kibble. So, I just have barely enough. Okay, so this is kind of a good location that it's in. What I'm going to try to do is get it down there on the beach because it's more open. So, the way that you go about taming these is that you aggro them, and at some point they are going to rear up on their hind legs and start walking towards you. And at that point, you want to start shooting at their back ankles, roughly. They will take significantly reduced damage in that area, but that is what's going to raise their torpor. So they're going to do one of two things when they're in that bipedal stance. They are either going to just give up and go back down on all fours, or they're going to do a stomp. And the reason that you want a flyer that is reasonably fast is that stomp will kill you in one hit and will most likely kill your mount. It does a lot of damage. So you do not want to be anywhere near them when they do the stomp. And that is why I really like the Griffin, because I never have to dismount. I can just stay on the Griffin and keep shooting. It is a little difficult controlling the Griffin and aiming at the same time, but it is doable. So I'm going to get started and try and kite it over there to the beach so that it's more open, because it's going to be easier to see when it's out of the trees. Alright, let's get started. Looks like it de-aggroed me. Sometimes you might need to land to get it to rear up. Let's see. Alright, there it is. See its torpor going up. There it goes. That is what you do not want to be near when it happens. And if you notice its torpor right now, it's already dropping very fast. Really? Oh, this is going to be bad. I did not realize that there are microraptors down there, but thankfully I was able to get away. And that's another one of their attacks. They can kick with their back feet and their front feet. I kind of hope that it kills the microraptors in the process. So as you can see there, I did not end up hitting the ankles, and it did a lot more damage. I wish it would kill that microraptor. Reload. I'm actually going to land for a second and get my stamina back. This also might convince it to rear up again. There it goes. almost there. If we can just keep this up. Reload for the next. Okay, come on. There it is. So, one of the really important reasons that you want awesome SpyGlass is to keep an eye on that torpor. Their fall animation is kind of hard to catch, so you run the risk of shooting them multiple times after they have lost consciousness, and then you end up losing taming effectiveness. So that is why I highly recommend awesome SpyGlass. As you can see, its taming effectiveness isn't even 99% anymore, because I guess some of the pellets made contact with it after it reached 100% torpor, but that's okay. It's better than nothing. So this is obviously going to take a long time, so I'm just going to hang out here to keep it safe, and then I'll bring you back when it's ready to wake up. Okay, so we're back with an almost tamed up Brachiosaur. This took an extremely long time, about 2 hours I would say, and I ended up going through all 200 biotoxin and about 60 narcotics, and even after all that, its torpor has stopped going up and it's going back down. But we should be good, because it should be eating here soon on its last kibble. So I really wish that I had kept recording when I got attacked by the Microraptor. I just panicked because I thought I was going to end up losing my Griffin and dying as well. So I actually paused the game, quit recording, and went into my game files real quick and made a backup of my last save, just in case I would have to revert. That is one of the nice things about being on single player. But I did survive, for the simple fact that it did not stomp. Instead it just went back down on all fours, and I was able to get back onto the Griffin and get out of there. But I am kind of glad that the first part got recorded, because that was pretty hilarious. But as you can see, it is a pretty difficult task to tame one of these, and once you do get it down, you're going to have to spend a lot of time sitting around. Oh, here we go. Alright. And there you go. That's a tamed up Brachiosaur. So I'm going to get it cryopotted up, take it back to base, build up a saddle for it, and then I can show you the plethora of things that one of these guys can do. We'll be right back. Alright, so we're back at base, and we're going to craft up a saddle for the Brachiosaur. You can unlock it at 70, need 40 Ingram points, and you can just craft it in your inventory right there. And we'll hop down here and put it with the others. They do take up a lot of space, so make sure you have room in your base for them. So when it comes to leveling, probably melee damage, so that they can gather more. Weight is a big one. Stamina and health are both also fairly important. So after all of that work, make sure it's not set to follow. What can the Brachiosaurus do? That is a great question, because it can do a lot. So the Brachiosaur is by far the best gatherer in the game, and that is its main purpose. So once you get one of these, this is the only thing you're probably going to be using to gather resources. So what you do is with R, the R key, you can cycle through resources. So as you can see up there in the top, as I'm hitting the button, it cycles through. So we'll go to stone, and I'll show you just how much stone this thing can gather. So then with your left click, you can stomp, and I just gathered 841 stone with 2 stomps. And I believe the foot that it uses to stomp is going to be dependent on where your camera is. So when my camera's on the right side, it's going to use its left foot, and vice versa. You can also do it with the back feet by right clicking. It'll use its back feet. And it will pretty much gather all resources no matter what resource you have selected, but whichever one you have selected is what it's going to gather the most of. So like with metal here, I will get a small amount of metal out of these rocks, but you really want to go to the actual metal rocks to get the most, which I don't see any nearby at the moment. So besides that, you can also gather things like obsidian and crystal. I believe for both of those you want metal selected in order to get the most. It will also gather hide and meat off of dead animals. I don't remember which one you have to have selected for it to do that, or if it matters, but we will find out here in a second with this Therizino. So besides gathering, it is also no slouch when it comes to dealing damage. So what you can do with the letter C on the keyboard is you can go into the bipedal stance. We'll walk up over to here, left click, and you will stomp. So right, trying to find which one you need selected in order to gather meat. Okay, thatch. So if you have thatch selected, it will gather meat from corpses. So there is a cooldown on the stomp, which it's already over with, so I will do it again, but I'm gonna we'll just spread them all out. Let's go after this Therizino because I get annoyed really easily by Therizinos. So C, rear up. You can continue to walk while you're in the bipedal stance. Left click. Boom. So it's roughly a 30-second cooldown, as you can see up there in the top right. So let's just go back over here. There's one other feature that the Brachiosaurus has that I really wanted to show you. And I need to try and figure out what key it was, but we'll find out here in a second. So I'm just getting to the middle of these Dilophosaurs. And with control, it'll do a bellow, kind of a roar, and it will scare off everything, kind of like a UD sphere roar. But the cool thing about this roar is that it even works on gigas. So you can even chase off a giga with this, which is really, really nice. And that, folks, is all there is to know about the Brachiosaurus. Easily the best gathering dino in the game, but a pain in the rear to tame up. So thank you for joining me today. Hopefully you learned something, and hopefully you can go out and tame your own now. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.